I am in my backyard today. I tried to do this yesterday, but I didn't have enough time. I've got my Riata, or Lasso, back out, and I'm going to try to wax it. So right now, as you can see right beside me, I've got it stretched between the two corners of my yard here. Getting it a good stretch before I wax it. Then I'm going to put the wax in, and then I'm going to put it back up and let it stretch. And I'll take a heat gun and get the wax to set while it's stretched out. So hopefully it'll be longer than it was, and it'll be stiffer and be easier to throw. That's the plan. Got some straps and my come along on this end. Make up the difference and be able to give me a good tight stretch on it over here. That's a nice trailer. I've got this cheap little crock pot I got at a thrift store for like $5, and I've got my wax in there already melted, ready to dip the lasso in it. I might have just a little too much in there because the lasso is going to take up a little bit of space, but because of that I'm going to move it and set it to the ground over here when I'm ready to dip it. That way if it spills, it's fine. This top part here slides out, this insert, so that way it's not getting wax all over the actual crock pot. But not that that really matters either, because that's the only reason I bought it for, was for the wax. But I think it's been stretching long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and unhook it. I didn't really see a lot of information on this when I researched it, so I hope I don't ruin my lasso by waxing it with just regular candle wax. But don't know until you try, so hopefully this works out like I want it to. I don't want this to be so hot that it boils my rope, so it's still too hot. So I gotta let it sit for a few minutes. The only waxing I've seen, like on YouTube, is waxing of Paracord bullwhips. And with the guys that I've seen doing it to their bullwhips, they say keep it about the temperature of the wax between 180 and 200 degrees so that you don't overcook the paracord. I'm not even seeing online much about waxing of lassos, except for one video on how it's made lassos, but it doesn't say much about the wax, and it says it dips it and then hangs it out to dry pretty much. But so this is largely experimental. Perfect. This way, so I'm just going to go ahead and move this. I'll go ahead and pull it out and string it up and get it stretched. I'm gonna let that sit in the sun for a little bit because I forgot to pick up the heat gun anyway. But the sun ought to help it a good bit too. It's already really dark, which is good. I like that. But you got this little bit of extra bit of clumps of wax all the way down it. But that's when I'll take the heat gun and see if I can melt it down, finish soaking those little bits in, and wipe off the excess, and should be good to go. This part's taking a little longer than I expected. Now that looks much better. I don't know if you can see it very well. Roll it up. So as soon as I get this thing rolled up, it's going to be looking the best it will. Because once I start getting it broke in, it's probably going to start scuffing up and looking weathered, but that's okay. I think I'm going to still like that look. So alright, so still got a good bit of stretch to it, got a good bit of weight to it. Heavier than it was. Seems to be rolling pretty nice. I'm liking it. Didn't seem to do a whole lot for stiffness. It did a little bit, but not a whole lot for stiffness. Now that I've got it off the line, I can go ahead and take these little ties off and finish getting the wax off the knots. Put my Hondo back in it, then I've got to put my burner back in it, and then I can try it out. Got it all finished, put the Honda back on. If you want to see that, you can go back to the first video. I videoed that already. So all that's left is to go out and throw it a couple times. But first, gotta wear the hat. This helps get the last bit of wax flakes off the rope. I think I said this in my last video, but the originals were made out of rawhide, and they would usually have a board that would have several holes put in, and they would run it back and forth in the holes, but this does the same thing. But they would do that with those rawhide Riatas. It would get them broke in and work loose, nice and limber, but get that rawhide and kind of take off the edges, because the rawhide's pretty abrasive. All I have is wax here about this. Alright, here we go. I wonder if you can even see what I'm aiming at. Better make sure my camera's there. More, didn't make it a whole lot more stiff, but it is a little heavier. I was hoping that would translate into better throwing. There it is. Nice. I like it. I think I'm going to call that done. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.